Okay, so today we're gonna be making a clay slab mug. On my tables, I have a bucket of clay tools, two clay slip containers, and two containers. These are single Pringle containers with a sponge and water. Also on the table, I have two rollers. I give each student a chunk of clay, and the first thing we're gonna do is make a slab. So I tell the students to first just kind of flatten out their piece of clay and flatten it out until it's easy enough to roll. So I flattened it out, and now I'm gonna take my roller and I'm gonna be rolling up and down and back and forth. And my goal is to make a slab that is a little less thick than my pinky. So I'm rolling back and forth, trying to be as even as possible using my whole body, and I am standing. Then I'm gonna grab a template, and these templates you can get off the internet. I got 6 ounce, 12 ounce, and 8 ounce. So take your template, put it on top after you've measured your slab, and take a clay knife. Then you're going to go perpendicular down. Don't go at an angle, carving sloppily, but instead one smooth motion. I'm using my hand to hold steady my template. I can peel away the extra clay or I can leave it. Up to you. I like to peel it away. I'm again holding it very still, making sure my template doesn't move. Then I have the cup slab that we'll be using to hold. So I'm gonna take a sponge, squeeze it out, and wipe it down, smoothing out all those rough spots and the edges. I'm gonna flip it over and do the same thing on the back. That way I have a nice smooth slab to work with. Then I'm gonna set this aside because I need the base. For the base, I'm gonna take one of those extra chunks of clay and I'm going to roll it out, make sure that it's the same, a little less thick than my pinky. And now I need to smooth it out with my sponge, and then my goal is to attach the top half to the bottom half. So here's how we're gonna do that. So the way to attach is we need to do 3 things. We need to score, slip, and attach. So what I'm gonna do is score. I'm using a toothbrush. This is so that we can create teeth and really allow that clay to connect. So I'm going to do the sides, the bottom, and also the base. So I've scored 3 sides of my slab, and I'm going to go in a circle around my base, not being too careful. Now it's time to put slip. Score, slip. So I'm gonna dig into this slip, and this is just like clay glue. I'm gonna attach some slip to anywhere where I scored, including the base. Now I'm ready to attach. So I'm going to go ahead and push my cup together just like this, forming it the way I want, and now it's time to attach. The way to attach is to take your clay tool, and what you're doing is you are pulling a piece from one side to the other, making sure it never looked like it was more than one piece. So I do the outside. I use my tool for the inside, and then I'm ready to attach my base. So I'm pushing a piece of clay onto the base from my cup. And I know that even though it's rough, I can eventually smooth it out with a sponge, so I'm not too worried. Now that I've scored, slipped, and attached the cup to the base and to itself, I'm ready to cut out the base to the shape I want. So first, I'm gonna get rid of some extra clay that is in my way before carving close to the mug. And this would be day 1 for my half-hour classes. This is all we would do, would be the base. So I'm carving, I'm coming close to my mug or cup at this point and carving it out. And now it's gonna be a little rough. This is most likely what students' mugs will look like, and that's okay. I'm gonna put my hand inside so I don't change the shape of the clay mug, and I'm gonna pull the base up onto the main part of my cup. And again, we'll smooth this out later with a sponge. All right, so now we have attached. It doesn't look like this has ever been more than one piece. So now I'm going to take my sponge, squeeze it out, and rub my mug inside and out. And that would be day 1 of creating our clay slab mug. Next, or day 2, I would hand the students another chunk of clay and demonstrate how to make a handle and any parts you'd like to attach to make your mug unique. So the first thing I'm going to do is think about the handle. In order to make a handle, I'm going to make a coil. A coil is a long piece of clay. So I'm going to first start squeezing it into a snake or a clay coil. And then once it's long enough, I'm going to use my hands rolling up and down on the table, trying to stay even as my coil gets longer. If you accidentally press too hard, which a lot of students do, and you get this almost rectangle, take your hand and squeeze it back into a cylinder. Now you're not going to use this whole coil, so it's okay if pieces break off. So once I've rolled out a nice size coil I like for my handle, a little thicker than my finger, I'm going to take my sponge and smooth out all the sides before I cut. I know I don't need all of this, so I'll just get rid of that, and now I'm going to plan out my handle. How big do I want my handle? What design do I want my handle to be? Whatever I choose, I'm going to measure it out, bend the coil how I want, and then cut or pinch off what I don't need. So this is the handle I would like to attach. Again, you're going to score, slip, and attach anything that is touching. So I'm going to score the top of this handle, and I'm not going to attach on the side, on the bottom. I'm going to attach here on the side. So I've scored. I'm putting my hand inside my mug so it doesn't change shape. Scoring there. Grab some slip. Put some slip here and put down. But we're not done. We again need to attach. So I'm going to take my clay tool and I'm going to pull a piece of the handle onto the base of my mug. And I'm going all the way around. And I also do that to the bottom. There we go. And I'm going to take my sponge, smooth out the roughed edges, and now I'm ready to attach any pieces I want. So let's say I want to make this have a cat. So I'm going to take a chunk of clay. I need ears. And for ears, I'm going to need a slab. And I know how to make a slab, so I'm flattening it out. And then I'm going to cut the pieces I want. And the trick is, if you would like them to be the same size, cut out one piece and then measure it and trace right over it on the slab to create your other piece. So now I have 2 ears that are exactly the same size, ready to attach. So I'm going to do exactly the same thing. I need to score, slip, attach. So I score the bottom of my ear, I score the rim of my mug, careful not to press too hard or I'll change the shape. I add slip, and I put my ears on, but again, we need to make it look like it's never been 2 pieces. So I take my clay tool and I'm pulling a piece of the ear onto the mug. And what you need to remember is that there's more than one side. So I'm doing it to the sides and to the back. And I'm going to continue this for both ears. Excellent. So now I have my ears. Now let's add a nose, and this is something students forget. Even when your pieces are small, you still need to score, slip, and attach. So I know I want my nose here. I score it on the base. I score my nose. I add slip, and then again, attaching a piece of the nose and pulling it onto the mug until it looks like it never was one piece. I can use my carving tool or clay tool to add whiskers or other designs, and you have your clay mug.